9 animals perceive a world humans have no sensory access to. Not sharper versions of the senses we have, entirely different channels of information that do not exist in human biology at all. The star-nosed mole, Condylura cristata, has a nose ringed with 22 pink appendages covered in 25,000-minute sensory receptors called Eimer's organs, giving it the most acute sense of touch of any known mammal. It can identify and consume a food item in as little as 120 milliseconds, below the threshold of conscious human visual processing. The star processes touch in roughly the same brain region mammals use for vision, and the mole constructs a sensory map of its tunnel environment through touch alone at speeds that outpace sight-based navigation in equivalent tasks. Pit vipers, family Crotolini, detect infrared radiation through pit organs located between the eye and nostril on each side of the head. The organs contain a thin membrane stretched across a cavity, with temperature-sensitive nerve endings registering heat differentials as small as 0.003 degrees Celsius. This allows the snake to build a thermal image of its environment independent of ambient light. It can track a warm-blooded prey animal in complete darkness based on body heat alone, and can detect a human hand from 30 centimeters away without any visual input. The platypus, Ornithorhynchus anatomus, detects the bioelectric fields generated by the muscle contractions of its prey, meaning it can locate a shrimp buried under river sediment in complete darkness purely through the microvoltage the animal's movements produce. Its bill contains approximately 40,000 electroreceptors distributed across a skin surface that also contains mechanoreceptors. During a dive, the platypus closes its eyes, ears, and nostrils entirely and navigates using only electric and touch sensation. Laboratory experiments confirmed it can distinguish between live animals and battery-driven electrodes producing identical voltages, suggesting it integrates spatial and temporal patterns rather than raw signal strength. Sharks detect electric fields through organs called the ampullae of Lorenzini, gel-filled pores concentrated around the head and snout that can register field strengths as low as 5 billionths of a volt per centimeter. This is the most sensitive electric field detection known in any animal. A shark can detect the electric field generated by a flatfish's heart beating while the flatfish is buried completely under sand. The same system detects the Earth's magnetic field, allowing open ocean navigation. Reef sharks have been documented making directional decisions correlated with magnetic anomalies in the seafloor in ways consistent with magnetic map use rather than compass-only orientation. Mantis shrimp, stomatopods, have 16 types of photoreceptor cells in their eyes. Humans have 3. Rather than mixing color signals centrally, as human vision does, mantis shrimp process each wavelength channel at the receptor level, making spectral discrimination decisions before the signal reaches the brain. They see ultraviolet and infrared light invisible to human eyes, and can distinguish between left and right circularly polarized light, a visual channel with no known equivalent in vertebrate vision. Certain species use circular polarization patterns on their bodies as species recognition signals invisible to predators that cannot perceive it. Migratory birds including European robins, Erithacus rubecula, use a quantum mechanical process in their eyes to detect Earth's magnetic field. A photon of light triggers a chemical reaction in a protein called cryptochrome, producing a pair of radicals whose spin state is entangled with the orientation of the ambient magnetic field. The resulting signal appears to be processed in the visual system, creating what researchers describe as a magnetism-based image overlaid on normal vision, meaning the bird may literally see the magnetic field as a pattern superimposed on its visual scene. The mechanism was the first confirmed biological application of quantum entanglement in a sensory system. Dolphins and toothed whales produce focused clicks and process the returning echoes with resolution sufficient to distinguish objects a few centimeters apart from distances of over 100 meters, detect a coin-sized object at 70 meters, and determine the internal structure of objects, for example, distinguishing a hollow cylinder from a solid one of identical external dimensions. The tissue geometry of the melon in the forehead focuses the outgoing beam, and the lower jaw conducts returning vibrations to the inner ear along a fat-filled channel that bypasses the skull. A dolphin's acoustic resolution in the axis of a returning echo is comparable to the resolution of medical ultrasound used for fetal imaging. Monarch butterflies, Danaus plexippus, navigate from Canada to a specific mountainous region in central Mexico, a journey of up to 4,500 kilometers, without having made the trip before. They use a time-compensated sun compass. An internal circadian clock calibrated by time of day modulates the angle at which they fly relative to the sun's position, correcting for the sun's arc across the sky. Genetic studies have confirmed the navigation mechanism is partially heritable. Recent research also documented a light-independent magnetic compass as a backup system, suggesting the butterflies have two independently functioning directional systems operating simultaneously during migration. Weakly electric fish of the order Gymnotiforms, including the black ghost knife fish, Apteronotus albifrons, generate a continuous low-voltage electric field around their bodies using a specialized electric organ, then detect distortions in this field caused by objects in the environment. This sense, called electrolocation, allows them to navigate, locate prey, and identify objects in complete darkness with a spatial resolution comparable to close-range vision. Multiple individuals in proximity jam each other's signals, so each fish adjusts its own discharge frequency to minimize interference with neighbors, a behavior called the jamming avoidance response, which operates in under 4 milliseconds and requires no visual or acoustic input. 9 senses. 9 channels of information about the world that exist around us right now and that no human has ever directly perceived. Tomorrow's animal makes this one look ordinary. This channel posts a new animal fact video every day. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.